What was the most heartbreaking reason for your breakup with your boyfriend? I broke up with my boyfriend because he is now a full-time parent to his children. I thought I could handle him having a kid, but I couldn't. I have been with my boyfriend for 2 years now. He has 2 kids with his ex-girlfriend. She moved to another state with her kids to be near her family when they broke up 3 years ago. He gets them on vacations only. I knew all this when I started dating him. I had no issue with this, but I told him I couldn't be a parent. I was parentified by my mom and raised my 5 younger siblings. The oldest of them is 6 years younger than me, and I had to change his diapers and feed him formula. I went to low contact with my family, and I left home at 18. I can't imagine doing that again. He was also snipped after the last kid and didn't want more kids. He was fine with me not wanting to be a parent and just being a bonus adult. We were taking it slow, and I didn't even meet his kids until a few months ago. We took a trip together and got along great. Things changed 2 months ago when his ex died. The kids were really crushed when they moved into his house. We were not living together, but he asked if I could move in to help him out just for a while. I couldn't refuse, so I stayed. But I started hating it again. I hated how clingy the kids became and how much responsibility I had. I did my best, but my mental health started getting worse every day. I didn't even get help from my boyfriend because he was struggling too. Last week was especially bad since the younger kid had a cold and wanted me to nurse her back to health exactly as her mom would have. The soup wasn't the same, the song and story weren't told the same way, and I didn't hug her the way her mom did were some of the long list of complaints. I know she is grieving, but I was already working from home and stressed too. When I told my boyfriend he should take over, he said they needed me more since I am a mom. It triggered me. I didn't want to be held captive to a mom's responsibilities again. I told him I couldn't do this. He said I needed to stop acting like a child and step up. I understood that if I stayed, my whole life would be like this. Never measure up. Never being enough. And all the responsibilities of a mom. I left yesterday. I moved in with a friend. My ex-boyfriend is blasting my phone, calling me names. The last few days were chaotic and full of confusion, to say the least. I didn't leave without saying goodbye. I had told the kids goodbye. I didn't want to cause too much strain and said I was leaving for a while for work. I don't normally work from home. He asked me to stay home with his daughter, stating that he doesn't know how to take care of a sick kid. She really was sick at first, and I went along with it, but he refused to even help in the evenings. Anyway, I was able to move back into my earlier apartment. Thankfully, the landlord hadn't rented it to anyone else. I did have a lease, but I did not want to keep paying rent and had come to an agreement with the landlord to sublet the apartment from month to month until I was back. Being back in my space, I feel much calmer. I also met with my ex. After the initial blasting, he called me yesterday, asking if we could meet. I wanted to get more clarity too, and I agreed. He finally got a babysitter, so he came over, and we had a good talk. He apologized for everything he said and demanded I do. He said it was a big, unexpected change for him too. Being a vacation dad, he was scared and didn't know how to raise them. Having children home every day and thinking this was how it was going to be for the rest of his life had him terrified. I said I understood, but I cannot be a mom to those kids. I cannot take up his responsibilities. I want to help, but not in that capacity. I needed boundaries. He said he expected as much. He agrees that he should never have asked so much of me. He asked if I could still help him. The kids missed me and asked when I would be back. He needed me. I refused. I told him I would help him. I will come around sometimes when I can, but only as a friend of Dad's. I won't move back in. I won't be a stepmother. He asked if I was breaking up with him. The truth is, I don't know. I do love him, but it won't work out in the long term. And everything he did and said is still raw in my mind. I said as much to him. I can't be in a committed relationship with him. I won't go anywhere. I will help and support him as I can, but only as a friend. I guess we are ending that relationship. I met the kids this morning. I went over there with some pancakes. They asked when I was coming back alive with them. I told them I have my own home to take care of, but I will visit them when I can. While surprised, they seemed to be accepting of the situation. They had questions, of course, but they accepted that I would just be Daddy's friend. His daughter asked if I could still be her best friend. I agreed. I guess that won't be too hard. She gave me a hug before he took them to school and daycare. I actually feel so much better too. This was a role I could deal with. I don't know if it's the right way, but I do hope it works.